Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is new and we will try to understand new concept, new chapter. This is rectification of errors. No matter which class you are, it is related to concept. It can be used in BBA, it can be used in BCom, it can be used in ICOM or whatever accounting and finance subject or class you are in. This chapter is very important. That means if you are related with accounting, no matter whatever your class is, you will have to understand this chapter for better progress. First of all, we will understand the meanings of these two words, rectification and error. Error is a common word which means we have made some mistake. And as an accountant, we will try to correct those mistakes. So rectification means correction. What we will do, we will see some errors. Error mean mistakes, mistake in accounting, and we will learn how to correct those mistakes. This is correction of errors. This is correction of mistakes. Though as a human being, everyone makes mistakes. Even the expert accountant can also make mistake. It may be due to carelessness or it may be deliberate mistake. It may be misunderstanding. But as a human, we all make mistake. And as an accountant, mistakes are possible. But the better person is who? The person who will accept his mistake, will understand his mistake, and then rectify or correct that mistake. So, and in fact, we will see several errors or mistakes in accounting, and we will learn how to correct those errors under rules and regulations. For that, we will try to understand what kind of mistakes we can make. First, it may be undercast. We have already uh, uh, having this word in previous chapters. We have listened this word and we have an understanding. But right now we will re-understand this word in a different way. Undercast, or it may be called error of omission. That means you have left something. You were supposed to write, but you have not written. Again, be concentrated upon this word, be focused upon this word. You were supposed to write something, but you have not written. This is called undercast. We can take an example. Wages paid for rupees 200 were not written. This is your first example. You may write wages paid for 200 were undercast. So you may write in this way, but the meaning of both lines are same. It means what mistake we have done. We were supposed to write wages on appropriate place, but we have forgotten to write. And after some time, we suddenly realize that we were supposed to write wages and we haven't written. For that, we will apply simple accounting principle. Wages paid are your expense, expenses placed is debit. So when you will be reminded that there was a mistake, you haven't written wages, simple solution of this mistake, simple solution of this mistake is just to write. You were asked that a mistake has been done as you have not written wages. When you were reminded, simple solution is okay, accept it. I haven't written, all right. Then now how you will correct this error? You will say, I am going to write right now. All right. So wages were not written. Wages paid are expense. Expenses should be debited. So you will write wages on debit side, and what you will do, whatever is written on credit side, for the time being, you are not concerned with it. Wages were supposed to write over here, you have forgotten, and now you memorize it, you reminded it, and when you realize your mistake, you immediately have written wages on the proper spot. So how much amount was not written? 200, and then 200 on credit side. What you will write upon here, that's something else. Since it was a mistake on debit side only. You have corrected that mistake. There was no mistake on credit side, so you will not be able to write anything over here. Up till then, or for the time being, temporarily, you may write a new word, suspense, as you don't know what to be written on credit side because there was only one mistake. I'm repeating this line, there was only one mistake. Wages were supposed to write and you have not written. And now to correct that error, you have written the wages. So your error has been rectified. Again, your error has been rectified, but there was no error on credit side. So what you will do, you will leave that place, there is a question mark, and temporarily you can write over here suspense. So what narration you will use? Wages not written. This was your mistake. Now rectified. So here is your narration with which your entry would be completed. And here after your narration you will put a divisor or ending line with which this rectification would be completed. Alright, we can take another example. Let's say if you have paid salaries, or let's take a different example, sale amount of rupees 150 was not written, or you can call it sales book under cost. One of the same thing. This is our second example and we are taking it in a proper manner. Alright guys, now I'm sure that you people will make its rectified entry. What it is? This is entry with which you have rectified your first error. We are taking another example and this example is same over here, or instead of to you may write it or. Now again you were supposed to write sales for rupees 150 on its appropriate place, but you have forgotten, was not written, or sale book undercast, same meaning. We were supposed to write 150 but you haven't written. How you will rectify this mistake? Again you will be doing the same thing. You will think where this amount of sale was supposed to be written. Sale is your income. Income should be credited and you were supposed to write sale on credit side, but you have forgotten. Now you remember your mistake, or it's time to correct your mistake. It's time to rectify your error. You were supposed to write sale on credit side, but you haven't written. So what you will do? You will accept your mistake and you will say, okay, now I remember and I'm going to write sales over here. So in this way you have rectified your mistake. But what we will write on debit side, since there was only one mistake and that mistake was sale was not written or sale was undercast, and we have made that entry corrected. Nothing is supposed to be written over here, but temporarily you may write suspense over here. Amount was 150 and here you will write 150. In this way this second narration would be sale book undercast. Now rectified. Beside this, we are saving some space. So in this way, second narration is completed and your rectified entry. As you know that in case of undercast, what do you do? We have a rule as well. In case of undercast, if it is debit, we do it debit. Just remember it, debit do debit and credit do credit. Undercast mean if it was debit, just make it debit. As you know that wages are written on debit side because we are paying these wages. Wages are expenses. In case of undercast, you will place on debit side. In other meanings, if you have forgotten any entry, you will write it at its supposed amount, at its original place. And the original place of wages was debit, you have debited. Original space for sale was credit and you have credited. So in this way, guys, we have completed our first error in case of undercast. And now we will see the second error, and that is overcast. Overcast is also called a wrong entry. Overcast is also called error of commission. And this word, we have also heard this word in BRS and in previous chapter. You are just supposed to remind it again. And here we will learn how to rectify our error if error is overcast. Now here we can take an example. Salary paid for rupees 250 was overcast, or salary paid for rupees 250 was written as 500. Okay, so please make your attention upon here what we have done. These are both same entries and you will have to understand why they are same. Salary paid 250 was overcast. That means you were not supposed to write salaries, but you have written. And here you were supposed to write only 250 and you have written 500. It means 250 extra amount has been posted in salaries account. This is the same thing. Overcast mean you have written 250 extra. And in this way we have explained how 250 extra we have written. Actual amount or original amount was 250 and you have written it as 500, with which what had happened, you have written 250 extra amount. So how you will rectify this error? As you know that in case of overcast, you put that overcasted amount to the opposite side. I'm very hopeful that you remember that in case of overcast, if it is debit, you will post it to the credit side. Now, you were not supposed to write salaries, but you have written. First, we will see this scenario. Salary overcast. Please listen to this word. You were not supposed to write salaries, but you have written without any reason. It may be misunderstanding, or it may be mistake, it may be carelessness. Salary was not supposed to be written and you have written. Then you might be thinking we can erase it, we can cut it, but in accounting standards you cannot erase any entry. You cannot cut any entry. You cannot remove any entry. You cannot use ink eraser for any entry. You cannot use whitener for your entry. So it means if you have written sales anywhere, if you have written salary anywhere, you will not be able to remove it. Instead of that, you will cancel its effect. How? Wherever you have written, just write the same amount on the opposite side. In this way, the error can be rectified. So now come to the point. Salary of 250 was overcast and you are required to rectify it. Salary was not supposed to be written, you have written, and where you have written at debit side. So instead of removing it, you will post it to the opposite side. Opposite side credit. So here you will write your salary. On credit side, as we are using 2, which is showing that it's credit side. Now error has been removed. You have rectified your error. There is nothing to be written on debit side, as you know that there was only one mistake and you have rectified that mistake. If mistake has been rectified, there is nothing to be written over here. Temporarily you may write over here suspense. And how much amount? It was 250. So you will write 250 over here. Why size is being changed? I haven't changed it. Alright. So, and same amount you are supposed to write over here. And in this way, overcast salary now rectified. Just one sentence or 2 words you will write. Whatever the mistake is, you will write the mistake and then you will write now rectified. Okay guys, so in this way our example has been ended and we will take another example for overcast. Suppose they are saying sales overcast. This is your second example, sales overcast, and we may write for amount rupees 250. Let's say this is our second example, sale is overcast. The same thing, we were not supposed to write sales, but we have written just like this. This is debit side, for example, just to understand, and this is your credit side. And here you have written sales. Okay, now overcast is showing you were not supposed to write sales on credit side. You were not supposed to write sales on this side, but you have written. Look, it is very easy for me to erase it. I will just click, okay, it's vanished. So our mistake can be rectified. But in accounting, we cannot erase, we cannot remove, we cannot use whitener, we cannot cut it. You will have to rectify without removing and without erasing. So instead of that, instead of removing, what you will do in case of overcast, you will write same amount to the opposite side. That means you will write sales over here, with which what will happen? Amount present on credit side would become equal to amount on debit side. In this way, their effect would be cancelled. So same you will be doing over here. This is your second example, sales overcast. Sale we do write on credit side. When it is overcast, we will post to the opposite side, and here you will write it on debit side. On the other hand, there is nothing to be written on credit side because mistake was related to debit side. For the time being, temporarily we will use a new word, that is suspense, and that's all. Mistake was associated with sale, mistake was rectified, nothing was to be written on credit side. So instead of writing something, you have written suspense. And how much amount? This was 250. Just write down 250 on credit side and 250 on debit side. And here you will write the narration, sales we have now overcast, now rectified. So guys, in this way, we have learned how to rectify our errors in two ways. For the time being, we will take a break. We have understood two errors, undercast and overcast. In next section, we will understand two different errors, two next different errors with which our introduction related to rectification of error would be completed. I'm sure that you people have understood this concept, how to rectify errors. Basically, just one logic, keep it in mind. We will not erase, we will not use whitener, we will not delete. Instead of erasing, we will cancel the effect of that error with which error would be or mistake would be rectified. So please, it is requested to repeat and revise this lecture, write down everything what is written over here and make a practice. After practicing, if you feel anything difficult, you are very open to share your questions or queries or problems through messages, text, or you can comment. I will be trying my best to answer your queries instantly. For the time being, we are ending this lecture. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.